Hi everybody, welcome back to another episode of Life of Kay. I'm Kay. I know it's been a while since I've posted another video. I've been trying to stay consistent with it, but I'm sure you can understand, like, it's hard with my schedule and everything to kind of make sure that I have it weekly, but I'm trying really hard, guys. I promise to be a little more consistent with posting up my videos. Hopefully I can get a better schedule back again and try to put up videos weekly like I was before. Anyway, I'm on to vlog 5 now in this vlog series that I started. And again, if you haven't watched vlogs 1 through 4, please go back and do that now because it's, for the most part, pretty much connected in a way. And in my first vlog, I do go into why I started the vlog series in the first place and what it's going to be about. So again, if you haven't checked out vlogs 1 through 4, please go back and do that now. Or do it when you finish watching this video so you can be caught up on everything that I've talked about up until this point. Now in my last vlog, it was all about, it was a 3-part series which was all about my last divorce and everything, and I went into a lot of detail about my story. So I'm moving away from that now because that is now finished, and we're kind of just talking about current things. So that's why I entitled this vlog Finding Love During Coronavirus. I mean, we all know what's going on in the world right now. These are difficult times for everybody. These are really uncertain times. This virus has impacted everyone in some sort of way. Whether you've lost someone or know someone who has succumbed to this terrible disease, or if it's just a matter of maybe you've been losing your job or you've had to work from home, as I have had to do in the past. It's affected everybody in some way. And one of the ways that it's impacted a lot of people who are single, like myself, is it's made finding someone that much more complicated, I guess you can say. And this has kind of been a hot topic I've even been seeing on various talk shows and news magazines and things like that, where people are saying how hard it's become to meet anybody. This pandemic has really forced a lot of places that would normally be a place where you could possibly meet someone to close or even reduce hours. So if you are single during this pandemic, it's made finding someone that much more challenging. And Muslims are not exempt to that. I am single, and again, like I said, if you watch all my vlogs, you know why. So, I mean, yeah, I have been looking. If I'm being honest, I haven't really been looking consistently like that for someone. I would say I'm open to the idea and I'm open to finding someone, which is fine. I probably haven't been as consistent with it as I probably should be. In my past, I was much more consistent with trying to find someone, but I don't know. I guess you just get to a place where you're maybe comfortable with where you are and there's not really a priority anymore. With that said, I would like to find someone. I would like to get married again at some point. But as you know, with this coronavirus, it's made that a little more difficult. Now, for my non-Muslim viewers, Muslims do not date. Okay, we don't have boyfriend and girlfriend relationships like you guys do. So if you are talking to someone, it is for the purpose of marriage. There is a process in which that happens. There's what's called a wali or wakil that has to be involved, which is usually, for the woman, it's usually her dad or another male member of her family who's there to represent her and help her. It's a lot. I'm not going to go into all the details and rules of how we go about, I guess you can say, courting each other. That would be the closest word I can think of how we do it. Maybe I'll save that for another video and go into more detail about that. But what I will say is, even for us, it's made meeting someone a little bit challenging. And I'm sure if anyone out there is single and is looking to get married, it's probably harder. Obviously, I think places like masjids, mosques were probably a popular spot. Maybe if you were looking for someone, we can kind of maybe see who was in the community, see the men who are out there, and vice versa. But during the pandemic, a lot of the masjids closed, as other houses of worship as well closed as well. Now, recently they have been reopened. I know in most places they haven't reopened. Here in New York, they did reopen the houses of worship, but with the numbers coming back up again and stuff, they're at reduced capacity. So it's not fully 100% available for everybody. They are reduced capacity. I think the numbers are something like no more than 25 people, or I think it depends on your city and state. It may vary, but I know here I think it's something around maybe no more than 25 people are allowed in there. So you're not allowed at 100% capacity anymore. Bottom line. And I know a lot of the masjids are even having really, because it's so small, the amount of people who are allowed in at one time, that there are most are not even really allowing the women there. They kind of closed the women's sections of it to accommodate, to spread out everybody, because they only allowed a certain amount of people, and people have to be 6 feet apart for prayers and things like that. So I think, again, it probably varies by your city and state. Maybe some masjids and other places are still having a women's section open. I know some here where I am, not all of them do. So it's one of those things where you really will have to probably call ahead and find out. In any event, it's really not an option anymore if you are looking to get married, or you're in hopes of finding someone, thinking maybe you could see someone or meet someone at the masjid. It's not really an option because of the reduced capacity, and again, depending on where you are, it may even be closed. So that's off the table. So now it's like, okay, so what options are you really left with? Now, I know for a fact, and these are things that I have done in the past, where there was events that would happen in the community, whether it was lectures or some kind of family programs and things like that. Conferences were a big thing, and I know these are popular places for people to go, especially if you're single, in the hopes of finding someone or meeting someone. But again, with the pandemic, all those things have been canceled. So there's not even really events going on where you could maybe possibly see someone or have someone see you or meet anybody. So with everything really closed and not really available, what options are we really left with to meet somebody during coronavirus? So I guess the only option really available is online. And I know there are tons of online dating apps. For those who aren't Muslim, there's things like Match.com and eHarmony and things like that. And we have ours as well. If you're Muslim, we have our own online matrimonial sites. And I heard, and from what I've been reading, that these have really surged in popularity over the past few months because everybody has been home, and since all those other options that were once available to people to look to meet someone are now not there, people have really turned to apps and online services. So I know their memberships have really skyrocketed since this pandemic, because there really is no other option left if you are looking to get married to someone. So I did start using a few of those apps. I'm going to talk about a few of those apps in this video. Some of the features and things like that that are in the apps, and then you can decide if it's something that maybe you would like to do. I will say this is geared towards my Muslim viewers. The apps that I am referring to are Muslim apps for finding a Muslim mate. Not to say that you can't watch this video, but I'm saying that I'm just letting you know as a disclaimer that the apps that I tried and am trying and I will be talking about in this video are Muslim matrimonial apps for Muslims. I just kind of want to put that out there so you know which ones I am talking about. Alright, so let's dive in. So there is basically 3 that I've tried that are also pretty popular, I would say. That perhaps you might be willing or interested in trying as well. So I'm going to talk about the 3 apps. One is called Salam's app. The other is called Match, and the third is called Pure Matrimony. These are all apps you can download in the App Store. If you're Apple, Android users as well can download it. It is available for you on your phone, on your tablet. So I think overall, I would say first, the convenience of it is pretty cool. That now, it's an actual app. You can use it on your phone. You can do it anywhere, anytime you have a moment. You can kind of scroll through and look through what's available or who's available. So I guess I would say that's a positive, like the convenience of it. And I have to also, we've come a really long way in terms of our matrimonial services. Because I remember back in the day, and I'm really dating myself here because I'm going way, way back to like late 90s, early 2000s. When matrimonial, online Muslim matrimonial sites were really just coming about. And, you know, this is before really smartphones came about. So there were no apps, obviously. So everything was websites. They were actual websites where you would go and you would join and things like that. And like compared to back then, like we've really come a long way in terms of technology and how these apps function. It's so much more easier to navigate than those old websites were. They seem so clunky and awkward now thinking back. And again, they had the convenience of just having it on your phone. I think is a real huge plus, because I think at the end of the day, people like the convenience of something that they can just whip out their phone and do, as opposed to having to maybe be tied to a laptop or a desktop and have to actually, you know, use a keyboard and all that to log on and just to see, you know, to use the application. So I think the fact that they're all available in apps now is huge, and I think that's a really big plus for us. But in any event, those are the 3 apps that I will be talking about and breaking down for you. So let's start with first one, which is Salam's app. Now, Salam's is new and not new. What do I mean by that? Salam's app actually has been rebranded and renamed. It used to be called Minder. So those of you who are familiar with Minder or have used Minder in the past, it is the same. It's the same app. They just have rebranded it. And now it's called Salam's app. Okay, so it used to be called Minder, and they just recently, I want to say within the last actual couple months, they rebranded it and everything, and now it's called Salam's app. So if you're familiar with Minder, then you pretty much already know how it works and are familiar with how to navigate it and things like that, and the features it has. So it's really the same company, it's the same app, they just have rebranded it and renamed it. But now it's called Salam's app. It's one of those apps where you swipe left or swipe right. You know, you have the profiles, the pictures, and the profiles of the guys, if you're a girl looking for a guy, and you swipe left if you don't want, if you're not interested, and you swipe right if you are interested. It literally is that simple. Yeah, so the Salam's app, like I said, swipe left, swipe right. It really is that simple. You can see the profile as well as a picture of whatever guy. Their age, the location is on there. When you go onto the screen, you can actually, they have a lot of different settings, and you can really customize it. You can customize it by your location, so you can only, say for instance, view profiles within, I don't know, a 10-mile radius of where you are located. You know, so I think that was pretty cool that you could customize it. Or you can just have it where you have it nationwide. Like you're open to whatever state. So it's just going to show you profiles from all 50 states. Alright, so I think it's cool how you can customize it to what your needs are and what your interests are. You can initiate a chat. So how it works is let's say you do see someone who sparks your interest. You see the picture, doesn't look bad. You read the profile, you like what he has to say. So you as well obviously swipe right. And then if that other person likes you as well, he says, say he checks out your profile in return, all that stuff, and he also swipes right, then it's a match. If it says you're a match, it means both people are, you know, are interested. Then you can chat with the person, and there's an actual little chat box or chat room that you can go to, and you guys can start chatting from there. Now price for Salam's, it is for premium membership is $19.99 a month. Well, that's really not too bad. $20 a month is actually not that bad. And with the with the $19.99 a month, it does allow you to do things like customize it. The premium membership will also allow you to see like who likes you. You can actually look and see who likes you. If anyone you have passed up on, you might want to go back and change your mind. You can do that too. With the basic membership, without subscribing, you cannot do those things. I just want to let you know that. It's pretty good. I mean, in terms of function, it's easy to use, pretty simple. I like that there's a variety of ethnicities. In the past, that really was an issue. I will say with a lot of Muslim matrimonial sites, it wasn't really inclusive of all ethnicities. Like, it was very limited. Maybe you'll have mainly Desis, like Pakistani Indians, or maybe just maybe Arabs. You know, it wasn't really a variety of ethnicities. Whereas I have to say, with this particular app, you have everybody under the sun in this app. So it definitely offers you a wide range of ethnicities, which I really like, that they really are including so many other people now. It was definitely refreshing to see. But even with that, let's say you did have a preference, you can even customize it to, I only want to see people from this, you know, this ethnicity, or I want to see people from this ethnicity. So you can really customize it if you only are looking for a certain type. You can even customize to do that if you so chose. But I will say I like that there's a variety of ethnicities. There's a lot of different men from like various backgrounds. So that was actually a positive. I guess. All right, so you know what? Before I talk about the cons and pros, let me just go on to the next app. So the next one is called Match, M-U-Z-M-A-T-H, Match. Don't worry, I'll have all the links to these apps in the description box below. So Match was another one. It's very, very similar to Salam's app. Very similar. It's the same premise. Swipe left, swipe right. You see the pictures, the profiles there. Same thing. You'll see the age. You'll see the location of the person. Things like that. So I'll have the whole bio breakdown. So I would say it's very similar. So they seem like they definitely, I wouldn't say copy off each other, but it's the same premise. It's used the exact same way as Salam's app. So very similar. So if you're familiar with the Salam's app, the Match is pretty much the same thing. Like I said, swipe left, swipe right. You see the profile. You see all the data there of the person. Also, a wide variety to choose from. Again, that's positive. A wide variety of ethnicities and backgrounds. So that's cool. Match, I do believe you can also customize. Like you could narrow down if you want to keep it within a certain search area. What it will do is, because when you register, you do have to put in your address and zip code. It will, when you pull up people who are available, it will always start with who's in your immediate zip code, in your immediate area. So I kind of like that because it's interesting to see who's right within the same neighborhood that you're living in right now, who's on the app. So that makes it actually really convenient. You can see who's available right where you live. And then from there, you'll start seeing the search getting wider and wider. It'll maybe go to more areas of the particular city you're living in, and then it'll go to another state, nearby state, and things like that. So it always starts with your immediate area, your zip code, and it kind of branches out from there as you scroll through the profiles. So I actually like that aspect of it. For a gold membership on Match, let's see, they have it. They have options for theirs. You could do it weekly, and it's $14.99 a week. You could do it monthly, and it's $24.99 a month, and you can do it for every 3 months, and it's $39.99 for a 3-month membership. So they do have options in terms of membership. You can, depending on how you want to do it, maybe if you just want to try it out, see how it is, you might want to start with something like a weekly first, get a feel for it, see if you even like it. And if you don't like it after the week, you can always cancel it, you know, and you only wasted $15. So I like that they have options for their membership. More options available than the Salam's app, where Salam's app is straight up $19.99 a month. But I will say, if you do not have a gold membership, if you choose not to have a paying membership, you want to do it free, that's fine, because you can still scroll through the profile, swipe left, swipe right, all that stuff. You can even chat. However, you only have a limited number of swipes per day. So I will say that. So I don't remember what the number is, what the cap is, but you are limited in number of swipes you have in a day. So once you use up all your swipes for that day, that's it. You'll have to wait for the following day to be able to scroll through more profiles. So that is the catch. If you choose not to pay for it, you are limited in the number of swipes you get a day. But you can still chat, you can still look through profiles and all the other features. It's just that you won't have as many swipes. That's pretty much bottom line with Match. And my third app that I was using or am using is called Pure Matrimony. Pure Matrimony is, I think, probably maybe a little bit older than the other two companies, the other two sites. I don't know. I think they've been around a little bit longer. Now, this is a completely different platform than Match and Salam's app. There is no swiping left and right. For Pure Matrimony, when you go on, after you create your own profile and things of that nature, there's profiles there of all the men that you can see, and they'll have, you know, their, whatever they filled in, their bio data and their profiles, things like that, whatever you want to say. You have the option of choosing to have a picture or not. It's totally up to you. Some people you see will use the picture option to have a picture, some don't. What they also do, which is an interesting feature, is you can choose to have a picture, but you don't have to show it. You can choose to have your picture hidden, and it'll blur it. And then if someone wants to see your picture, they have to request it from you. So they'll send you a request to view your photo. And you can choose to accept it or deny it, of course. And then you can take it from there. So I think that was a really interesting feature, how you can have a picture, but you can also not make a picture public. You can opt to hide it. And the person, if they want to view your picture, will have to request permission to view your picture. And you can grant whoever you want permission to view your picture. So that was an interesting feature with Pure Matrimony. Obviously with the other two, the pictures are just there for everybody to see, and you can just, like I said, swipe left, swipe right, depending on what your taste is. But this one is not like that. You do have to go through it. You have to read the people's profiles and information that they put up there. So I actually like that about it. You also can chat. Now with that one, you can chat with whoever you want. If you see a profile that's interesting to you and you like what the person has to say, you can choose to send them a message. The message will go to like a chat area, and then it's up to them whether or not they want to respond. Some people respond, some people don't. So then if they do respond, you are in a chat room and you can chat with the person. What I do like about it also, there's always a moderator. There is a moderator watching the chat, which I actually like. And there's always a disclaimer saying to keep it halal, make sure you don't talk about anything inappropriate that you're supposed to talk to. They always have the disclaimer before you enter the room. So I actually like that aspect of it. It really makes it feel more Islamic, I guess you can say, to kind of have that remind us like, okay, at the end of the day, we're Muslims, let's keep it halal. Let's make sure we're not doing anything to talk about anything inappropriate. So Pure Matrimony does have that in their app. It's pretty easy and simple to use. Like I said, you view the profiles. If you like it, you can send a person a message, or you can send them a like, and then they can respond if they want to respond. I will say they're also very strict about following the rules of behavior, because you will be suspended, you will be kicked off the app if you are not following the rules, or if you are found to not be following the rules, if you say things that are inappropriate, or if you are not following the rules of the chat, or your profile turns out to be fake, because we know, let's be real, there are people who are catfishes out there and people who do have fake profiles. So if that's found out, you definitely would boot up the app. There's some people who I clicked on to view the profile, and it will come up a message saying this person cannot receive any messages or anything like that because they've been removed. So you will be removed from the app, which I actually like, because it means they are watching the interactions and what people are posting. They're really mindful of what people post, what people say. And if it's something that's inappropriate or un-Islamic or not in par with their rules, you will be either suspended or removed. And I actually like that. It has that safety net in there. I think it's important. And I think that the other apps should have too. Now, I will say there's nothing like that on Match or Islam's app. I think maybe they should think about having something along those lines. I think having that extra safety built in will keep people in check more, and I think people will be more mindful of the kind of things they would say and do. That's just my opinion. I think that you could probably benefit from something like that, but they do not have it as of right now. Pros and cons of them. Okay, so for the Salams app and the Match, again, the pros are it's easy to navigate, it's easy to use, it's pretty simple. Even with creating your profile, it's pretty simple. The price I like for the pros, I guess, particularly for Match, are good because you have the option of weekly subscription as opposed to just a monthly subscription. So I think the pros for that one is definitely you have the option of just doing it for a week, which is great because sometimes you want to just try something out and see if you like it first for committing for a whole month. Whereas with Salam's app, it's a monthly subscription only. So I do like that the Match offers you the weekly one, and you can try it out first and see if you like it. So that was pretty cool. Cons, I think I just talked about that. I think they need to have more, I guess, safety protocols in place, more along the lines of what Pure Matrimony has. Because again, there's so many catfishes out there, and let's be honest, there's people out there who don't have good intentions and are there to play around and are there to maybe just pick up somebody. Like it is what it is. So I think if maybe they had some more safety features in place, it would maybe cut back on some of this. Now, I personally have my experiences, but I know people who have, and it's just, I know it's one of those things that come along with using these apps. I get it, But again, if they put up some more safety protocols, I think it would probably cut back on some of those things. That's just my opinion. I would definitely say any of these apps, go in cautiously. Be aware that there are catfishes out there. Yeah, so just be mindful of those things going into any of these apps, because everybody is not who they say they are, and people aren't always what they seem. That's for sure, and that I have experienced. And then you have to kind of have an eagle eye, so to speak, because pay attention to those pictures sometimes. First of all, you will find and a lot of the same people on various apps. I'm gonna tell you that straight up. You'll be like, oh wait, I just saw him on the other app. He's on the, like, people are gonna see the same people after a while on the same apps, which is nothing wrong with that. But again, make sure that is adding up. Okay, let's say you see someone on Moose Match and he puts that he lives in, I don't know, Texas, and he's 25 years old, right? And he says he's 6'2". Then you see the same guy, because he uses the same picture, on Salams, but this time he says he lives in Oklahoma and he's 5'10", and he's 42. Now wait a second, so these kind of things you have to be mindful of. Make sure that the information is, if you do happen to see the same person, and you will, on several different sites or apps, make sure that the information is still consistent on all the apps, because that usually means probably a catfish. If you're finding they're still using the same picture, but the information is changing, like especially things like age and location and height. Those are things that people catfish and lie about the most. So definitely be smart, be aware of those things, and again, make sure you verify this kind of stuff as early as possible if it's someone you can plan on talking to. Because people lie about those three things more than probably anything else. You'd be surprised also, as a heads up, how many people are incarcerated. So apparently they have privileges where they're able to use things like computers and stuff. So you'll be surprised how many people, men I'm speaking of, are currently in prison. So be mindful of that. Now how do you know someone's in prison? Little clues can sometimes give them away. Look at the clothing in the picture. The clothing a lot of times will give them away. And the background. Look at the background in the picture. Usually the background will give them away. If you see those cinder blocks in the background, they're in jail. Okay? So again, you have to, this is something that you really after a while have to become familiar with and really know how to navigate it. Because I'm telling you, there's so many catfish out there. People lie all the time. Like I said, a lot of people are on the inside. They're not even on the outside. They are in prison currently. They will never say that, of course, in their profile. But again, if you are careful and you're smart and you have a sharp eye, you will notice little things that will give them away. So I'm just letting you know, be mindful of those things as you navigate these apps, because it's rough. I'm not going to say, it's great that this technology and these things are available, and I know the people who create this probably had the best intentions in mind, because they know people do want to get married, and it's hard to find, especially with this pandemic, it's hard to really meet anybody. So this does offer an alternative to possibly meeting someone, but going into it very cautiously, I would say, ladies, please let your wali be aware of what you're doing. I wouldn't suggest any Muslim woman going on there alone without her wali knowing, or some family member knowing what you're doing and what you're posting on, because again, at the end of the day, these people are strangers. You don't know this person. You don't know who he is, where he is, or what his background is. So I would definitely say, as another safety protocol, make sure your wali is aware of what you're doing. Please. Again, that's one of the pros I would say for pure matrimony. It's something that they encourage a lot, to make sure your wali or wakil is available and knows and aware of what you're doing. They even have it where you can include your wali's actually information as part of your profile. So I thought that was another plus for pure matrimony app. Again, just another safety protocol they put in place. Unfortunately, these other ones don't really have anything of that nature. I think it's something they should think about implementing into their apps. It will, again, encourage more Islamic behavior and kind of keep people on their toes. That's my opinion. But I think it's something they should think about doing in the future, because it really at least is another check, to kind of keep us on our toes. And another disclaimer. Like I said, be careful. A lot of these guys on here are not necessarily Muslim. Yes, it's a Muslim app. Yes, it's supposed to be for Muslims. I'm telling you for a fact, not everybody on there is Muslim. Why they're on there, I don't know. I don't know why any non-Muslim guy would be on a Muslim app looking for a Muslim woman. Weird. But I will say they're on there. be careful with that. Make sure you also find that out before proceeding with anyone. I will say most times they will put in their profile, I'm not Muslim, but, you know, but just in case they don't, just be careful. Yeah, so just be mindful of that. Again, you know, if you're Muslim looking for a Muslim, be mindful of those who aren't Muslim. Like I said, they usually will tell you, but they may not. So if you're talking to someone and you get kind of a vibe like that maybe they're not Muslim, then you may want to leave that person alone. Okay? Again, this is just my advice to the sisters out there. Be mindful of that, because the sad thing is not everybody's Muslim. I still haven't figured out why there would be on a Muslim app if they're not Muslim, but they're there for whatever reason, so just be mindful of that as well. So those are the 3 apps that I have been trying out and using. No, I have not found anybody using these apps yet, but, you know, I'll keep trying. We'll see. Again, if you really, I have to say this though, if you are really want somebody religious and you're really trying to practice the deen and you're like, unfortunately, it's really hard to find a guy like that on these kind of apps. I have to be honest and tell you that. They're just few and far in between on these apps. It seems like the majority of the guys on this app, not the so religious ones. I'm not saying all of them are like that. I'm just saying it might be a little more challenging to find someone like that on these types of apps. It just seems like a lot of the guys on here may not necessarily be all that serious, and a lot of them on here don't really seem all that religious. Again, this is my personal opinion, my personal experience. It may be different for somebody else. These are just some observations that I'm making with these apps. Just putting it out there. But again, I'm not trying to discourage anybody. If you would like to give it a try, by all means give it a try and see. Your experience may be different from my experience. But these are ones that I have been using, and I will, you know, so far I'll see how it is. But I do go through spells where I do not look for anybody on these apps. It's like I'll maybe do a weekly or monthly subscription. See how it is. If I don't meet anybody, then I'll usually will just cancel it, and then maybe pick it back up a few months later. I'm really not consistent like that in terms of really like actively looking for someone on a daily basis. I'm really not. I do not use them on a daily basis, you know. But, you know, maybe someone else, you know, maybe you will. So I just wanted to give you those tips when using and navigating these apps. Just be careful. And ladies, please make sure your family members, particularly your wali, is aware of what you're doing and knows about what you're doing and is kind of with you along the way. As a safety measure, please. I will definitely say that. So that's it for this vlog. Yeah, finding love during Corona is not easy. It was hard before Corona. I would have to say, since Corona has started, it's even harder. Yeah, to have to even rely on these apps, it's kind of not fun, I will say that. But, you know, maybe that's why I'm not consistent with it. It's just kind of like, wow, really? This is what it's come to? Apps? But, you know, it is what it is. These are the times we're living in. You really don't have many other options right now because so many things are closed. So, if you'd like to give it a try, go ahead and give it a try. Like I said, I will have the links to these in my description box below. And please don't forget to like and subscribe and comment, especially if you tried any of these before. I would love to hear what your experience was with these apps. And please continue to watch this vlog series and all the other videos that I've already had. Until next time, see ya.